So imagine if we could only rely on alternative power such as the sun for solar power, the wind for wind power, and water for hydropower. So if we had no sun, no wind, and no water, we would also have no power. So hi, my name is Riley James. Today in my audience I have my mom, Christine, and my dad, and then my sister is filming. So should we try more alternative powers, or should we stick to fossil fuels? So the idea of drawing our energy from sources that are renewable, independent of foreign nations, and do not emit greenhouse gases has a powerful appeal. But capturing these resources is expensive and many are intermittent, which complicates using them on a large scale, according to Pike, who wrote the article, "Renewable Energy Cannot Replace Fossil Fuels." So today I'll talk or show you why fossil fuels are better than alternative powers. First is electric versus gas cars, alternative powers versus fossil fuels, and why alternative powers are too expensive compared to fossil fuels. So first, electric versus gas. So first is like cars. So the average price of a gas-powered sedan is $25,855 according to KBB, which is a car website. And according to Energy Sage, which is how much electric vehicles cost, the average sedan electric vehicle costs $39,828, which roughly is a difference of $14,000. And the sales of electric cars is 1% compared to 99% of gas cars on the road. So this is an illustration of alternative energy, and the money sign represents how expensive alternative energy is and why it's pointless right now. Yeah. So this here talks or shows that there's approximately 45,000 gas stations in Colorado, and this shows that there's 650 public electric charging stations in Colorado. And this illustration here shows that at most convenience stores or grocery stores, they have gas stations. And this one illustrates that there's not as many electric charging stations, and you have to plan your route when traveling. And this one shows that this car could be you, and you could be the only one there at the charging station. And the map here shows that most of the charging stations are along a major interstate. Next is alternative powers versus fossil fuels. So first, the output of each. Renewable is about 17% of the country's electricity, which was according to the Alternative Fuels Data Center. And fossil fuel output is 63.5% of the country's electricity, according to Energy Information Admin. And so the impact of each is, you can see that fossil fuels has a bigger impact, and you can produce, and fossil fuels is easier to produce as it's triple what alternative is. Next is why alternative power is too expensive compared to fossil fuels, or why alternative power is too expensive to the average consumer. So according to Creighton University, they found that alternative power at first can seem like a good deal and it's cheaper than fossil fuels, but they found out when you take out the government provided subsidies, that the alternative powers end up being more expensive than fossil fuels. So the best solution is to stick with fossil fuels until our economy and our country is ready, as we're more reliant on fossil fuels than alternative fuels right now. And my belief is that until fossil fuels is no longer viable, alternative power is not currently realistic. And right now, the alternative powers don't really have government support. So the solution will begin to be implemented when people realize that the alternative energy just isn't a viable option right now. And I think this should be voted on because it is a group effort for us. So I ask you, people in my audience, to get involved by using your phone or social media to get the word out that alternative is not a viable option yet, and that you should buy more fossil fuels and demand that the government keep supplying the need for our fossil fuels, and that you should not waste your money on alternative powers yet. So are there any questions?
Yeah, so if electric or alternative fuels are, for cars anyway, if they're more free for charging, then why would I go with a gas car rather than an electric car?
Well, with a gas car, you have a lot more gas stations, and with an electric car, you have to kind of plan out your routes. And with a electric car, you don't have as much of a range as you would with a gas car. I think like the average on a electric is around, the range is 200 or so. Alright, so I do have a question for you guys. Should we try more alternative powers, or should we stick with fossil fuels?
I would like to try more alternative powers, but I understand that cost-wise, unless it's subsidized heavily, that it's not a good option, and I would not want to pay more money for my energy.
Yep, I agree.
I think the country needs to figure out a better solution for the cost and traveling before they move to alternative solutions.
I feel that currently, right now, alternative fuel sources are too expensive for the average American and the lower economic Americans to be a viable source for the masses.
So I kind of agree. So I'd want to stick with alternative power because until proven that alternative power can produce more, cost less, and can be more efficient than fossil fuels, it's not a viable option. So if you'd like more information, or if you're interested, I recommend this website here as it gives you some good information. And thanks for joining me.
Bye.
Bye.